LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I
filed my return,
but I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
What do I do?
My refund, though. I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
Are you a lifelong fan of General Hospital?
Are you a new fan who wants to know more about the history of the show?
Do you enjoy talking about the show with others?
Do you find yourself yelling at the TV?
Is your self-care an hour a day in Port Charles?
If so, we invite you to join hosts
Amanda Kimmel
and Shannon Coach at the place where all the hidden conversations take place and secrets are revealed.
Meet us at Pier 54,
a General Hospital fan podcast. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to the Port Charles 411, Lucky and Liz Part 15, Lucky 21. This segment is between August 9th and November 6th, 2001. I can't remember my deadlines or like my dates completely, but I feel like we're coming up on a big gap, right?
Okay. I think.
I don't remember. So we are recording this probably like a month after we recorded the other ones because we recorded 3 before I went to Punta Cana. So I didn't really remember what the heck we just talked about, even though I just released it. But thankfully, Curly Q Girl got us a little bit with this edit begins at the charity art auction. A drugged Luke, the recappers often refer to him as Bio Luke, shows up and makes a scene. So we start with Nicholas and Gia are arguing in the auction room. Liz walks in, interrupting the two, which fuels Gia's fire even more. She tells Liz that she's perfect for Nicholas because they're both liars. Gia continues to attack Liz until Nick tells her to back off. Gia once again tells Liz that he's all hers and that her date is waiting. Just as she's leaving, a guard hands her a small jewelry box and tells her it's for her. She opens it and reveals a diamond necklace and a card from Lucian telling her that he has been called away unexpectedly. Nicholas gets angry and asks if she is stealing diamonds from men that she hardly knows. Gia wittingly replies that she took diamonds from him and comes to find out that she never really knew him at all either. Nicholas tells Liz that Helena is starting to trust him and that he is close to finding out what they need because they're trying to figure out is Lucky still under the spell.
Mm-hmm.
Liz thanks him and praises him for going above and beyond the call of duty. And then at the charity auction that's benefiting GH, but why we don't have this when we have somebody who has an art gallery anymore, I don't know. Why don't we do this still? Who knows? Begins, and while Helena is welcoming her guests, Luke comes and clapping loudly, applauding Helena's miraculous medical advancements. Mac tells him it's time to go, but Helena interjects and says that Luke may stay. When Scotty bids on a painting of Laura, Luke taunts him. Again, Mac steps in and Luke reminds him that he has already sent his wife home and that he should not want nothing more with him. Taggart tells Luke that he is under arrest for disturbing the peace, and Liz asks Luke to let her help him for Lucky's sake. Luke is touched by Elizabeth's words and tells Taggart to arrest Helena instead for ensuring that Liz will never be happy. Aww.
Mm-hmm.
That's sweet. Nicholas tells Luke that he should take it outside. Luke then blows Nick's cover and tells Helena that he has been working for him the entire time. Gia is confused. Why would he do that? Gia's confused while a lurking Stavros smiles with satisfaction to know the truth. This is defrosted Stavros.
Yes. Defrosted.
Bio Luke. Defrosted. Bio Luke continues to expand on Nicholas's duplicity to Helena. He also warns Nick to keep away from Helena or soon he will have to be brought back from the dead. Unseen by anyone, Stavros watches and smirks. He's just like a smirky guy. Nicholas tries to save himself and the situation by saying that Luke is drunk. When Luke throws more insults at Helena, Nicholas defends her and punches Luke. Luke does manage to throw some truths out about Helena's activities and bioweapons to the assembled group. Unfortunately, they are diminished by his seemingly drunken rants and insults directed at Mac. Before being escorted out by Taggart, Luke tells Stefan to have Nicholas arrested. It's the only way to keep him safe from Helena. Stavros catches up with Helena in the control room and greets her with a big "I told you so." Before he leaves, he tells Helena to handle the problem, meaning Nicholas. Taggart has handcuffed Luke to the wall. Alexis tells Luke that she is willing to help him with his current legal troubles in exchange for truth about Nick. When Luke cannot concrete cannot concentrate enough to give her straight answers. She tells him he is on his own and returns to the auction. In another room, Nicholas vents his frustrations with Luke backstabbing to Liz. She in turn confesses to having kidnapped the missing Lucky to keep him safe from Helena. Now she is worried that Nick will be in the line of fire if Helena believes Luke. She tells him they are the only two still fighting against Helena. When Taggart goes to the patrol car to take Luke to the station, Stavros appears. He taunts Luke by saying that it's going to be a pleasure to watch the toxins destroy Luke as he loses his family, his friends, and then dies a slow and painful death. Taggart returns in time to hear Luke threaten Stavros. Luke demands that Taggart arrest that man, but can't concentrate enough to make sense. Taggart goes to check the progress of the patrol car. Stavros excuses himself. He has other victims to see, he tells Luke. Mac appears and tells Luke that he is finally getting what he deserves. Luke taunts back with crude remarks about how Mac can't satisfy Felicia in bed.
Woo!
Yeah, Scott stops Mac from hitting Luke, but has a few taunts of his own. He's going to get Laura back, this time he will not lose her to Luke. Luke tries to warn Scott that Laura is in danger from the shadow and that Scott needs to keep her hidden. Scott scoffs at what sounds like drunken ravings and leaves. Inner Luke appears and tells Bio Luke that things are getting out of control. Everyone they care about is in danger, but they're running out of time and they have to do something now. Taggart returns from checking on the patrol car to find his own surprise. The officer he left to guard Luke is unconscious and the handcuffs are empty. Luke has escaped.
Oh
Gia
my.
expresses, I know. Gia expresses concern about Lucky and Liz to Nicholas, but they tell her to mind her own business. Confined Lucky is starting to feel stir-crazed. On the yacht, Liz and Nick search for the table with the hidden compartment in hopes of finding something to deprogram Lucky. Nicholas hears Helena approaching and pulls Liz in for a kiss. Liz and Nick pretend for Helena's benefit that more may be going on between them. After Liz leaves, Helena surprises Nick by showing him the secret compartment in the desk. She tells him that she keeps personal papers, records, and pictures of Stavros and Mikos in it. However, she does wonder as to what he thought he would find in it. Nicholas admits that he was looking for the secret to Lucky's brainwashing. Nicholas tells Helena he wants it all, the girl, the title, and the money. That's why he had Lucky kidnapped. Helena expresses doubts as to his sincerity because of what Luke had said at the auction. Nicholas explains that he did make a deal with Luke, but it was just a lie to get Luke off his back. Helena offers a deal, and she will make sure to get what she wants if he will tell her where Lucky is. Liz assures Lucky that he is safe as long as he stays there. Lucky tells her he has figured out it is Nick who is helping them. Liz warns him to stop thinking about that because it could get Nicholas in trouble if he repeats it to Helena. Lucky wants to go on the run, his father showed him how, to keep from hurting anyone else. Liz does not agree, but before they can discuss it any further, they hear Nicholas and Helena approaching. So Liz hides. Helena enters the safe house, even though Nicholas has asked to speak to Lucky alone, and immediately asks Lucky who kidnapped him. Nicholas brings Helena to Lucky's hiding place. Liz runs in the closet. I guess this was a day gap. Liz runs to hide in the closet. Helena wants Lucky to tell her who kidnapped him. Lucky realizes what is happening and admits that Nicholas showed up after the goons grabbed him. The two guys fight, literally convincing Helena they are definitely not working together. Nicholas demands that Helena show him how to program Lucky. He wants him to forget about Liz. Helena reminds Nicholas if she destroys Lucky's love for Liz, it will be gone forever. No, it won't. Nicholas thinks about it for a while, and he tells her to go through with it. Of course, Liz is still hiding in the closet. Helena starts her programming with Lucky, asks him to name the memories of him and Liz, and then they will disappear. She pulls out the ice princess, and Liz can see that this is the triggering device. Helena finishes her programming and leaves. Liz comes out of the closet. Will Lucky remember her?
Oh my, I hope he does.
Me too.
As a result of Helena's brainwashing, Lucky told Elizabeth that he no longer loved her. He told Nicholas that Elizabeth was all his. When Elizabeth finally got through whining, she told Nicholas that she saw Helena use the ice princess to brainwash Lucky. On the docks, Lucky ran into Gia. He told her that he was done with Elizabeth. And then grabbed Gia and kissed her. All right, we shouldn't be just like switching brothers around here. That's not okay. Liz and Nicholas find Jax hiding behind the curtain. He says he wants to stop whatever Helena has planned for Alexis. He guesses they're looking for the ice princess and implies that he can help. Liz begs him to tell them where the diamond is. She says it's a matter of life and death. Nicholas continues the Prince act. Jack says he'd be more inclined to help if Nicholas confessed he was faking. Helena shows up and demands to know why there's a costume party in her room. She wants Liz's maid outfit explained. Liz says she was looking for clues to help Lucky. Keeping the charade going in front of his grandmother, Nick argues with Liz, telling her to forget Lucky. In Nicholas's car, Gia kisses Lucky as a distraction, then grabs the car keys. She says he's acting like a lunatic, wanting to go drag racing, and it's all because of his breakup with Liz. He yells that he doesn't want anyone to control him. Gia takes off with the keys. Lucky chases her. He catches up with her on the docks and promises he won't go drag racing. She takes the keys out of her blouse when he's reaching for them and then throws them in the river. She says he's acting like he has a death wish. He says he wants to do, not think. Gia asks him how he stopped loving Liz overnight. Lucky says he remembered his relationship with Liz as facts with no feeling. It's like it happened to someone else. Gia says you can't turn love off like that. Helena must have something to do with this odd behavior. She says she's all he's got and she's determined to protect him. She takes him back to her room at the PC hotel. Lucky comes on to her but calls her Elizabeth. Ooh. Gia says that maybe whatever Helena did do to him didn't work completely. Liz and Nicholas discuss the Ice Princess, and Liz wonders if Jax really knows where it is. Nicholas says he wants to check Cassadine business records for clues and leaves. Jax comes in and suggests to Liz that Helena's urn might be of interest, but he warns her to stay away from Helena's room. It's too dangerous. She says she should look for Lucky, and he says she should look for Lucky instead. She agrees and leaves. Jax calls someone on his cell phone and tells them to meet him at the PC Grill right away. Gia continues to grill Lucky about what is going on. When he gets angry and tries to leave, she stops him by coming on to him. She then stalls by saying they need to set the right mood. She goes out to get a bottle of wine and makes him promise to stay in her room. Once outside, she phones Liz, who is downstairs at the grill, and they agree to meet. Gia tells Liz about Lucky's current thrill-seeking state and concludes that Helena must have something to do with it. Liz has a plan. She will go upstairs and get what she needs from Helena's room. Gia will watch out for her and stall Helena if she returns before Liz comes back. Helena returns to the hotel and enters the grill to retrieve her forgotten wrap. Gia stops her from returning to her suite by telling Helena about her plan to sue Nicholas and the family. Helena dismisses it and Gia. Gia stops Helena again by grabbing her arm and smashing some cake into Helena's power suit. Helena asks to have Gia removed. To keep Helena busy, Gia tells her she has some news about Lucky. Liz gets into Helena's suite and, thanks to Jax, finds the Ice Princess in an urn. Before she can grab it, she hears the door opening. She manages to close the lid and turns around just in time to see Stavros. Helena is stopped by Gia, who thanks her for programming Lucky to forget about Elizabeth and to be more fun. As Helena leaves, Gia makes a quick call to Elizabeth to tell her to get out of Helena's room ASAP. Too late, however, as Stavros has already caught Elizabeth red-handed. She tells him she is Nicholas's girlfriend and was up there earlier and lost a ring. Stavros introduces himself as a business associate of Helena's and, of course, doesn't buy a word of Elizabeth's story. She manages to escape, but not before Helena reappears and wonders why the young lady is in her room again. In Gia's room, Lucky looks at Gia's portfolio and the pictures of Gia morph into Elizabeth. Then he sets out to get himself some ice cubes, and of course the ice is in one gigantic chunk and looks a lot like the Ice Princess, so he starts to zone out. He climbs out onto the windowsill. When Gia and Elizabeth come back to the room, however, Lucky is asleep on the bed. Elizabeth wants to stay. The girls make a pact. Gia agrees to watch out for Lucky, and Elizabeth agrees to make sure that Nicholas doesn't sell out completely. Gia left Elizabeth and Lucky alone in the room. Though Lucky tried to push her away, she persisted. Lucky slowly began to remember things such as how he took care of Elizabeth after the rape. Gia ran into Nicholas in the lobby of the hotel. He attempted to be nice to her, but she was angered, believing that Nicholas wants Elizabeth. Nicholas warned Gia to stay away from Helena. Gia told Nicholas that Liz and Lucky were in her room together. When Nicholas failed to react, Gia accused him of being responsible for having Lucky's feelings erased. Liz and Gia awaken and find Lucky gone. Gia goes to look for him while Liz heads for Helena's suite again. As the maid emerges from Helena's suite, Liz puts on an act and manages to convince her that she is supposed to be there. Once she is alone, she heads straight for the urn and is relieved to see the Ice Princess is still there. She takes it and leaves the suite, sending up a prayer that it's not too late to help Lucky. Lucky rips the picture of Liz off the wall of the boxcar and wonders what is happening to him. He finds a picture of Luke among the ones of Liz and looks intently at it. He grabs a picture of Liz and sets fire to it. Gia arrives and they have a little discussion on Liz, Nick, and the best way to get over them. Lucky tells Gia he doesn't know why he ever loved Liz. Liz arrives and wants to speak with Lucky alone. Gia protests, but Lucky agrees. He tells Liz that they are over and she needs to move on. Liz pulls out the Ice Princess, tells Lucky, "We are not over. Do we understand each other?" Lucky turns and sees the diamond in Liz's hand. Helena is livid and tells her goons that if the Ice Princess is not back in an hour, she will hold him responsible. He asks her who was recently in the room. She names 2 suspects, Jax and Liz. When Helena steps out into the hallway, she runs into Gia, who has some choice put-downs for Psycho Granny. Gia has just informed Helena about the new man in her life, Lucian Kane. At the boxcar, Liz tries to get through to Lucky using the Ice Princess, but does not seem to be gaining any ground. Lucky continues to push her away. He tells her she has no idea what is really going on. He grabs the Ice Princess and tells her he is going to get rid of it. She protests that he can't because it's the key to his brainwashing. She wants him to go see Kevin Collins for help again. Lucky coldly tells her that if Helena sees her with the Ice Princess, that she will make him hurt her like he hurt Luke. She tells him that Helena can't take over his soul because their love is too strong and she will continue to fight with him even if it means her life. Aw, like she's still doing now, getting closer. Elizabeth does everything in her power to bring Lucky's feelings and love for her back, but nothing works. She goes on about how their love is stronger than Helena and the Ice Princess. Lucky's searched deep and remembers our love because I am not giving up on you. Lucky and Elizabeth spontaneously kissed, and it was beautiful. The kiss brought back some of Lucky's actual memories, but not the feelings. He told her how wonderful her lips felt and how good it felt to hold her, but it was not love, though, and that there was no feelings. Elizabeth was upset because it really felt like she could have been any other girl. Oof. Lucky apologized and asked her to leave him alone because he will never be able to bring back the love. Lucky took off and Elizabeth followed. They ended up at the pier where Lucky threatened to get rid of the Ice Princess. Elizabeth asked him not to and to remember that the Ice Princess was the key to releasing the programming. Lucky told her that it was too late and this is the only thing he could do to be free from Helena. He tossed the Ice Princess into the lake. Elizabeth asked if he felt different or better. Lucky replied oddly, "I don't know what I feel." Then Helena's henchmen found them and asked about the Ice Princess. Lucky told him it was too late because he had already disposed of it. The henchmen left to go report to Helena. Lucky told Elizabeth not to worry because now you are free to move on and find someone to love that will love you back. That's so sad. Gia and Lucky showed up at Deception and Gia fills Laura in with all that has happened while she was gone. Nicholas and Liz are at the docks waiting for the diver that Liz hired to look for the Ice Princess. How does Liz have money to hire a diver?
Maybe she figures she'll be reimbursed.
Okay. If it would have said Nicholas paid for a diver, I'd have been like, okay, but Liz paid for a diver? All right.
That's probably it, though. She's probably like, oh, Nicholas will give me the money. It'll be fine.
Okay. They're fighting, and Nicholas tells Liz that Lucky is better off without her. The diver couldn't find the Ice Princess, and they pay him to come back tomorrow and look some more. Laura shows up and asks Nicholas if he had asked Helena to make Lucky forget about Liz. He tells her he did and fills her in on the plan. After Nicholas leaves, Liz tells Laura that Lucky did something awful to Luke, but he can't remember what. While telling Lucky how much she loves him, Laura begins to cry. She asks if he knows where his father is, and he says Luke is gone, but he is alive. When Laura asks when Laura asks who he is, Lucky says he meant Luke. Laura reminds Lucky of when he was a child and Luke would sweep the monsters out from under his bed and he would be safe. Lucky then said that Luke was gone, but the monster was back.
Oh.
Dun, dun,
Then Lucky
dun.
Then Lucky breaks into the lab and tries to find some answers. Voices keep running through his head, but he can't seem to make sense out of any of them. One of Helena's goons shows up and tells Lucky he isn't supposed to be in there alone. Lucky is holding a vial of the biotoxin and uses it as a weapon against the goon. I love that we use the word goon.
Yes.
The goon backs away in fear, and Lucky realizes its importance. He puts it back in the wine rack and leaves. In Laura's office, Lucky has warned Laura that the monster is back. He's not dead, but Laura doesn't understand. She leaves a message for Kevin. Meanwhile, Stavros is lurking outside the door. Laura hears a noise and comes to see who is there. Scott conveniently arrives at the moment, and she thinks he was lurking. Scott conveniently arrives at the moment, and she thinks he was lurking. Scott charms Laura and apologizes, and they leave together. Frustrated, Stavros goes into her office and leaves a bottle of wine on her desk and goes through her address file until he finds Scott's card. Stavros laughs wickedly to himself. Oh, this happened during 9/11.
Wow.
So the following storyline was the first episode to air post 9/11. There was a disclaimer on the show that it was taped prior to 9/11, and the story took a sudden turn as they ditched the biotoxin storyline. It was too real to the anthrax terrorism scare.
Wow.
So then Luke and Laura heard a noise upstairs, and that's nice that they actually had that as a disclaimer ahead of time. Like, hey, can you wait it out like the next couple days?
Right. We're changing it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my, that had to have been so difficult because of how they shoot, like 6 weeks out.
Right.
They
To redo all
responded,
that.
but they couldn't undo all those episodes. And it's not like they had some, I wonder if they tried to re-edit some too. But then if this was like a major storyline, you
Yeah.
couldn't just edit around it. I don't wow. This is before DVR was a thing, and we were super broke in our first apartment. So I don't think I was even VHSing it. I don't even remember if I had a VCR. These kids nowadays have no idea.
They have no idea. They have no idea. I was still living at home and working or going to school, so I didn't get to see it all the time.
I was pregnant with my son. Okay, sorry. Luke and Laura heard a noise upstairs and rush upstairs to see what it is. It's only Lucky telling the new very cute Lulu a bedtime story, but she still would have been a toddler.
Yeah, I think they just like took her from
Changed her out.
baby. Like from
Is
a
this when they made her blonde? Because I always thought it was a little weird that she was a brunette.
yeah. That might
I know that sounded horrible, but you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
He was telling her about a prince who had a magic potion that he used to kill the monster. Laura realizes that it's more than just a story. Out in the hall, she asks him what happened to the monster. He told her the monster was real and after them. Now he is telling Lulu that the monster is dead. Lucky will only say that he sent the monster back to hell and then walks away. Scott tells Laura that he can help Lucky, but he needs to know everything. Laura agrees. When they question Lucky again, he refuses to say anything about the monster or the lab. Laura asks him to move in for a few weeks. She is worried about Leslie, Lulu, and herself being alone because there have been some break-ins in the neighborhood. Lucky agrees and goes off to make arrangements to move his things. Laura admits to Scott that she is afraid Lucky was referring to Luke when he talked about the monster. Scott assures Laura that Luke is too smart and too mean to let Helena beat him. That was nice of Scott.
It was.
Probably the only nice thing he ever had to say about Luke Spencer. He offers to look for Luke. Lucky arrives at Gia's hospital room, interrupting Stavros from putting the moves on Gia,
Ew.
and is upset upon finding Lucian/Stavros in Gia's room. Lucky yells out, "You're supposed to be dead." They don't really yell that when people come back from the dead. I'm sorry, like I paused and I'm like, I don't feel like they really ever say that. Like, oh my gosh, you're alive, or I thought you were dead, but you're supposed to be dead. That's a very... And he attacks Stavros, who quickly turns the tables and has Lucky in a chokehold. Gia pleads with Lucian to stop. Lucian throws a semi-conscious Lucky on the bed and wonders if he should press charges. It's the second time that Lucky has attacked him. Gia explains that Lucky is not himself. He has been brainwashed by the evil Cassadines. Lucian scoffs, saying it sounds like a movie plot, and next thing she'll be telling him is that they can raise the dead.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Gia says she wouldn't doubt it. After Lucian leaves, and Lucky regains consciousness, Gia offers to take him to the hospital, but Lucky refuses. He tells Gia that Lucian is freakishly strong, but when Gia asks why he dislikes Lucian so much, Lucky draws a blank. He doesn't know why. He just does. They talk about Nick and Liz. Lucky says everything has changed and wonders why he is still in Port Charles. He doesn't fit in with anyone anymore, and he feels lost. Gia tells Lucky to hold on to her when he feels that way, but Lucky thinks it's better to stay away from everyone. Then he goes off to do what needs to be done.
It sounds like something Jason would say.
Well, remember, that's the line that he kept saying in response to Helena.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I think so.
Yeah.
Melissa and Roy go to a cold, eerie cave hoping to find and help a sick Luke. When Lucky shows up, Roy tells him why they are there. Lucky says, in reference to a coffin, that the monster is there. Naturally, Roy applies a little pressure to find out what Lucky is babbling about. Melissa asks him to chill, as she uses a softer, more psychological touch with a confused Lucky. Melissa knows that something is amiss with Lucky's thinking. Roy found Lucky at the Port Charles Grill in heated discussion with Helena. Helena was grilling Elizabeth about the Ice Princess. She accused her of stealing it and demanded its return. Lucky came in and told Helena it was him who stole the precious diamonds, and she could no longer hurt him or his family. Lucky told her that she was going to pay for all that she had done to his family. Helena stood in shock and reiterated that she and Lucky were friends. Nicholas jumped in the conversation and defended his grandmother. Gia also jumped in and tried to get Lucky away from this bad situation. Then Roy yelled out, Lucky, I need to talk to you right now. Lucky stopped and went over to Roy. He quietly removed Lucky from this dangerous situation. Lucky told Roy that he was not finished with Helena and she had to pay. Roy told Lucky that he understood now is not the time. Do not underestimate Helena. Lucky said he knew that because Helena had already hurt his father. Roy told Lucky again that his father called today and spoke to Melissa and that he is still alive. Lucky said, but he is not well. No, he is alive and we can help him. Lucky thinks somewhere in the back of your mind, you know where your dad might hide. Think about it. Lucky came up with a place, but doubted it. Roy reassured him that whatever you are thinking about is worth a try to save your dad's life. I'm sorry, I just stopped being able to read.
Okay, yeah, I do it all the time.
Gia accuses Liz of covering something up. She is trying to blow Liz out of the water and about her fake relationship with Nick. Liz gets up to leave, but Gia tells her she is not leaving until she tells her what's going on. Roy and Lucky continue their look for Luke. They're in what appears to be a house. Roy points out fresh fruit in a hot stove. Noting someone must have just left. Lucky says that maybe the person was trying to get away and they went outside to look around. Laura thinks she sees Stavros in the window. She runs to get a baseball bat from the closet and unchains the door to go peep around outside. It's funny because I don't keep a baseball bat in the door, in the closet by the door, but you always see that in TV.
Mm-hmm.
And so my ex and I went, my birthday is September 13th, and we were going to Niagara Falls for my birthday 2 days after 9/11. And it took forever to cross and rightfully so.
Right.
Well, he was a baseball player. And so when they asked, do you have any weapons in the car? We're like, no. And then I was like, oh my gosh, your baseball bats have special grips on them. He taped a certain way for his grip.
Yeah.
They could think that that's a weapon. They kind of appreciated when I was like, but there's a bunch of baseball bats.
Because he's a baseball player.
But
yeah,
I think that they let it go because I was like, but there's baseball bats. Sorry. That just reminded me of that. And then I realized the timing of this is very interesting.
It is nerve-wracking whenever you're crossing the country. So crossing the border like this, they are rightfully intimidating whenever they're asking you these questions.
So there's a very eerie feeling to the scene. Laura swings the bat, but it's just Scotty. Scotty asks if it's Luke. He wants to call the cops, but Laura says no. He takes the bat from Laura and they go back inside. He didn't see anyone out there and then asks what's going on. Who's after you? Helena's goons? Laura tells him that he has no idea how close he is to the truth, but doesn't tell him her suspicions about Stavros. Roy asks Lucky why they were there. Lucky says that we faced a lot of truths here. Roy asked what kind. After the rape, Luke and Lucky went to that place. There, Luke got caught in a wolf trap. He told Lucky no matter what, he always loved his mother and she always loved him, but it wasn't his place, Lucky's, to judge them. Roy asks why did they go there? And Lucky says to make peace with himself before he dies. Roy says no, he's not going to die. Lucky brings up the coffin that Luke drew. Roy says that you don't know that. How do you know it was he that was here and not some transient? Because of the ingredients to make Spencer omelets, Lucky says. Fruit?
Yeah, that's weird.
Fruit in an omelet? Okay. I love him. I wish I could tell him. Roy says you will have that chance, and Lucky gets a strange look over his face and suddenly says, we need to get out of here. He has a feeling something bad is happening to Laura.
Ooh. Outside Laura's, Stavros peels petals from a rose. She loves me not. It makes no difference. There's a loud scream. Roy and Lucky go running to Laura. She says she is here to stop him. She says he is here. Stop him. Catch him. Lucky asks who, and she says the monster. Lucky tells her he won't let him get her. Roy tells Laura that whoever it was got away. He shows Laura the Cassadine medallion and tells her that Felicia left it at Luke's place and how Felicia got it. Laura looks at it and says, oh my God, it's his. Roy asks who? Stavros. Gia asks Liz why Nick doesn't show it that he wants her. Liz tells her that she doesn't have what he needs. Liz tells Gia to drop it. Gia tells Liz that she looks upset. Liz says, you're not my favorite person. Gia tells her to just answer and she'll leave. What is it you don't want to do? Liz replies, I don't want to hurt you. That's why I told you to drop it. He dumped you. Move on. Make something positive. Gia says, I don't know why he dumped me for a drip like you. I don't need this. And she leaves. Helena runs into Liz and asks why she's still there. Liz tells her that she's thinking about how much trouble Helena went through to get them together. Helena brings up Lucky and Liz and tells her that she is committed to Nick. She'll do anything to stay with him, even if she has to be friendly with his grandmother. Liz says goodnight and leaves. Helena looks like she's scheming things in her head again. Liz arrives to see Lucky. She tries to get him to run away with her. He says he doesn't want her to save him. She says she doesn't need him to save her. Helena won't let up about the ice princess, she explains. We need to hide, she urges. Lucky says they're strangers. Let Nicholas save you. Or you can go to your parents or Sonny. Liz points out that he must still care if he wants her to be safe. Lucky tells Liz about his childhood on the run, how his dad would always say they had to run away to live to fight another day. Well, it's time to stay and fight, Lucky says. Liz reminds him about their plans to live in New York City. He recalls their permanent lock pledge. Heartened, Liz tries to bring his feelings out. Lucky says he feels enough to let her go. Trying to save me is part of love, Liz points out. Their love will not end, she says. She leaves, with Lucky following her out to the porch, looking like he wants to call her back. Laura brings Stefan the laptop and discs, and the two of them work through their levels she and Luke had gone through before. When they get as far as warning, then Stefan tries Lazarus and opens a screen of medical text. He reads it, telling Lori it's about cryogenics. Helena has done it, he says. She's brought Stavros back to life. Laura looks horrified. Liz is working on a drawing, conveniently hidden by a large easel, when there is a knock on the door. It's Nicholas who tells her that Helena has ordered one final test of his loyalty. Without hearing the details, Liz rejoices until Nick tells her that he can't do what Helena asks. Liz tells him he has to, otherwise everything they have done and sacrificed will be for nothing. Nick tells her, Helena wants me to kill you. Liz barely blinks and tells Nicholas to do it. Nicholas answers, well, as long as you don't have a problem with it, which way do you want to go? Car accident? Drowning? Liz responds that it only has to appear as if Nicholas has killed her. It would be perfect. Not only would Nicholas gain access to Helena's plans, but also Helena wouldn't be able to use Liz against Nicholas or Lucky anymore. Nick doesn't want to risk Liz's life, but Liz thinks Lucky's life is worth risking her own life for. On the docks, Lucian, aka Stavros, finds a shaken Gia sitting on a bench. For some reason, she confides in him that Nicholas has changed from the person she thought he was when they were together. Nicholas used to be a good, kind person until he hooked up with his grandmother, she tells Lucian. She just overheard Helena order Nicholas to kill Liz, and Nicholas didn't decline. And as much as she doesn't like Liz, she can't let Nicholas kill her. She is going to tell her brother. He's a police officer. He'll know what to do. Gia tells Lucian. Lucian manages to convince her not to do anything yet. Her life might be in danger, he tells her. He promises to check into the situation and let her know what he finds out. Gia goes to Liz's studio and after asking if Nicholas is there, tells Liz, I need to talk to you. Lucky tells Lulu another story, this time about a knight, a prince, and a monster. Luke, Lucky, and Stavros, we assume. The knight battled evil with no help from the prince. The prince felt guilty for not helping until he decided to get rid of the monster himself. While Lulu is upstairs, Lucky answers the phone. It's a very disheveled-looking Luke. Lucky is very happy to know his father is alive. Lucky tells Luke that he and Roy found the drawing in the cave and even looked for him at the cabin. If Luke will tell where he is, Lucky will pick him up ASAP. Luke only has time for another cryptic message. It's time to hustle. Tell Roy time is running out. It's time to hustle. Then he hangs up. Lucky rushes out, leaving a newly arrived Scott to babysit Lulu. Laura arrives home shortly after and is very happy to see Scott, but wonders where Lucky is. Scott explains that Lucky rushed out without saying where he was going. Lucky arrives and tells Roy that Luke called. Roy thinks he might know what the message means. He and Lucky rush to look for Luke. Roy takes Lucky to a seedy part of town where they used to stash stuff for the late, great Frank Smith. Scrawled on a wall is a coffin like the one they found in the cave. Lucky and Roy check out the scuzzy bar nearby and hopes to find Luke under a table inside. Roy slips the bartender some cash in exchange for any info on Luke. Apparently, biotoxins don't hamper Luke's ability to get some play. The bartender threw him out when his skank of a girlfriend wasn't immediately repulsed by his behavior. What? Those are scenes I'd like to go back and watch.
I know.
What was going on? And then Gia stops by Elizabeth's studio. It's just a little girl talk. Never mind that these four played spin the bottle with each other's boyfriends. Elizabeth is uncharacteristically snotty, while Gia makes an attempt at being truly pleasant. She tries to warn Elizabeth that Nicholas may not be exactly who she thinks he is. She even goes so far as to apologize for her past not-so-nice behavior, and in an effort to gloom into Elizabeth's good girl vibe, invites her to go shopping. You do not see Liz shopping that often. That's not like a girly thing that Liz did, but okay. Sensing that her clumsy efforts are for nothing, Gia lays it on the line and tells Liz, I want you to stay away from Nicholas. There, I said it. Now what? Nicholas comes in and tells the girls he's taking Liz away for the weekend. Gia figures it's now or never and throws herself in front of Liz. Oh, that was nice. Look at her like caring for a minute.
Yeah.
Very sweet.
Then Lucky and Roy race off after getting a tip about a cemetery, but not before they deck some locals with the help of Melissa, of course. They end up at a cemetery where the Cassadines store their dead, or not so dead, depending. After going inside, Lucky shines the light into the broken box and jumps back. Luke's inside. Lucky is stunned that Luke is alive, but Luke doesn't remember him. Luke's memory loss makes him think that it's 1979 and that they are still plotting against Frank Smith. Roy brings, that also means that he would not be married to Laura yet.
Right.
Roy brings Luke and Laura together in a secluded cabin. Laura breaks down when she sees how bad Luke's condition is. Laura gives Liz the medicine to fake her death. 4 drops and she's out for an hour. Did we learn nothing from Romeo and Juliet? Any more dead and she's permanently. Laura gives her one last chance to back out. She says she can't. Nick officially tells Granny that he will kill Liz. Tearful Liz goes by to tell Lucky that she is leaving Port Charles. She says goodbye to him forever. He seems somewhat confused by her sad farewell, but doesn't try to stop her. Nicholas has decided that the medicine Bobby gave Laura may be too potent and risky to give Liz. He simply asks Liz to leave poor Charles. Helena's preparing a dinner party for Elizabeth's demise.
How kind.
Any reason to entertain, you know? Nicholas hesitantly puts the drug in Liz's wine. As Helena is toasting Elizabeth and Nick, Lucky enters. He is irate and demands to know why Elizabeth is there. Prior to this moment, Gia has told Lucky that a dark, sinister Nicholas plans to murder Liz. Lucky makes snide remarks while Nick plays the nice prince and puts his brother down. Liz tells Lucky to leave. He doesn't belong there. Lucky tells her she doesn't belong there either, as Nick and Helena are planning to kill her. Lucky tells her that the food is poisoned, then taunts Nick to prove otherwise by eating some himself. Seeing an apple. This is Snow White!
Right?
Seeing an apple, he says that's more Helena style and offers to cram it down Helena's throat. He throws the tray of food onto the floor and knocks Liz's drink out of her hand. Nick orders Lucky to leave, but Lucky refuses unless Liz goes with him. Nick and Lucky get into a fistfight, and Lucky ends up unconscious. Helena orders her goons to take Lucky and dump him somewhere. Nicholas orders them not to hurt Lucky, just dump him somewhere safe. Nicholas wants to draw the evening to an end since the food is ruined, but Helena and Liz insist on continuing. Helena thinks a toast is in order. She and Liz chat while Nick concocts another drink for Liz. After passing out the drinks, Nick offers a special toast. Helena watches in horror as Liz and Nick sip from each other's glasses and then trade them completely. Princess Bride. Helena watches Nick as Liz refuses more wine. While Helena quizzes Nick on how he is feeling, Liz starts to feel dizzy. Now Helena understands the poison was in Nick's glass all along. Helena and a tortured Nick watch as Liz cites her complaints. Then she, quote, dies. It was done quite nicely, pretty believable. Helena checks Liz's pulse and pronounces her gone. She calls her goons to remove the body, and Nick won't let them take her and tells the guards that from here on out, he's calling the shots, not Helena. He then informs Helena that he's going to keep his promise to Liz. He's going to take her sailing one last time. Helena says she understands and is proud. He is now the Cassadine. After Helena and the goons depart, Nick cries and pleads with the still unconscious Liz to return, but alas, Liz shows no visible signs of life. Stavros happens upon the goons, dumping a bound and gagged, still unconscious, Lucky. He orders them to disregard Helena's orders, and they leave Lucky with him. As Stavros waits for Lucky to come, he ponders what to do with them after the trouble Lucky has caused them. Stavros calmly says to him, I know my mother has plans for you, but plans change. Then he pushes Lucky into the water and says, I told you, you were too annoying to let live. Lucky comes storming back into the dining room of the yacht. He pulled a Luke and managed to free himself from his ropes while underwater. That's like pulling a Houdini. I mean, come on.
Right.
He can't believe that Nicholas actually hurt Elizabeth. He screams at Nick to get away from her, while Nick attempts to make Lucky understand that he didn't intend to hurt her. Helena's a little upset that he had Lucky tossed in the river, as he was still useful. Stavros says that with Luke and Lucky out of the way, his future will include his wife and son. Helena still can't help herself. Laura's not worthy of you. And he responds, Mother, when I want your opinion, I will give it to you.
Wow.
Hugging the seemingly lifeless body of Elizabeth, he told her, I'm sorry, I wasn't strong enough to save you. I wasn't worth this. Why couldn't you stop loving me first? Nicholas comes back to the room, and Lucky says he can't believe Helena got to him too and storms out. Gia busts in and sees Liz. Can't believe you did it. How could you let Psycho Granny control you? I heard everything. Nicholas realizes that's why Gia was so protective of Liz the other day. It's not what you think, he says. Let me explain. Tell it to the cops, Buster. Gia whips out her trusty cell phone and starts to dial. Nicholas makes a grab for it, and she clocks him with her Nokia. Hope it had like the clip-on frame or a cover plate. What was that called? A face.
Yes, faceplate.
Right?
Yeah.
It was a face. Yeah.
Yep.
Like our CDs, our CD thingies in our car.
Yep.
God, I loved that era. She starts dialing again, but before she can make sense, Nick's up and shaking her to get her to understand he didn't mean to kill Liz. At that moment, Liz calls out to Nicholas for help. Lucky was in rare form. He had finally regained the control of his life, or so he thought. Lucky told Helena that she would not be able to hurt any of his family anymore. He grabbed Helena and demanded to cure his father. Helena used a key phrase and she thought she had him under control, but Lucky popped right back to himself and told her he was not through with her. He demanded that they go get a cure for Luke. Helena complied, but pulled a fast one on Lucky when she pulled out the ice princess. This left Lucky shocked and useless against Helena.
Ugh, that darn ice princess.
I know.
Gia was delirious when Elizabeth came back from the dead. Nicholas tried to explain everything the best that he could, but Gia was not moved. She could not believe that he trusted Elizabeth over her, the woman that he loved. Nicholas explained again how if it was necessary to protect Gia from his family. Mac showed up at the yacht looking for a dead person or something. Gia covered by saying she was just angry with Nicholas and getting back at him. Mac was disappointed and told Gia that the police department was not a place for her to use at her disposal. Nicholas asked Gia to stay on the yacht while he got Elizabeth safely out of town. Liz continued her nasty tirade against Gia for selfishly being hurt and angry that Nicholas had repetitively lied to her, demeaned her, and refused to trust her during the months of their planning to save Lucky. She told Gia that it broke Nick's heart to do what he did for her and that she was not good enough for him. Later, she wrote a sappy love letter to Lucky, telling him for the 900th time that she's going to make him remember their love. Lucky and Granny battled wills over the vial of biotoxin and the ice princess. Even though Lucky fought for it, he eventually fell captive to Helena's programming. Stavros walked in on the pair and was unpleasantly surprised to see that Lucky was still alive. Granny told Stavros to leave Lucky alone. I don't like that they're calling her Granny there because it's not Lucky's Granny, it's Helena. If she was fighting with Nicholas, then okay, but Lucky stormed off on the yacht looking for Elizabeth. He questioned Gia about Elizabeth. Lucky explained that Helena had got to him again and he had revealed information to her. What he wants doesn't matter anymore because Helena will never let any of them be happy. Lucky did mention that he fought Helena. He was feeling stronger because he resisted. Then he point blank asks Gia what was going on now. Thank goodness Gia had a strong personality and decided to reveal nothing to Lucky. She told him she did not know where Elizabeth was. She also kept up the story about Nicholas still not loving her. Gia did try to help Lucky the best way possible by pulling on his heartstrings with Elizabeth. Gia told him that he had to rely on his feelings of love, even though they seem non-existent. Whenever Helena tries to get you to go to that special place where you and Elizabeth shared your love, and fight that. Then Lucky saw Elizabeth, a vision of her. Elizabeth told him to fight for them and their love. You can't let Helena win. Lucky came out of a trance and told Gia that he had seen Elizabeth, even smelled her skin, and she had told him that he had to fight. Since Lucky was over this hump, Gia took the opportunity to question him about Lucien Kane. Lucky's whole face changed, and he said that Lucien was the devil, and if he got Nicholas, he would never let him go. Melissa, who I still don't know who it is, urges Lucky to put aside his fear and visit his dad. A frantic Luke begins calling for his son from his hospital bed. Fighting back tears, Lucky apologizes to Luke and they share a warm embrace. Nicholas tries to convince a hostile Lucky that they are on the same side. He tries to explain that the prince was just an act to convince Helena. Nicholas couldn't confide in Lucky for fear that Helena would get the truth from him. He assured Lucky that Liz is alive, but he can't tell him where she is because that would put her in danger. Nicholas is trying to convince Lucky that Liz is still alive, but he isn't buying it. Laura arrives and tries her hand at convincing Lucky, finally seeing the light. I can't read today either. Nicholas is trying to convince Lucky that Liz is still alive, but he isn't buying it. Laura arrives and tries her hand at convincing him. Lucky finally sees the light and the brothers hug. Although they discuss tackling Helena together, Lucky thinks it's hopeless. He says Helena is too strong. Laura and Nicholas try to reassure him. He finally decides he's going to fight and becomes gung-ho about their fight. He boasts they have something the Cassadines don't have, love and commitment. As Laura arms herself with a pistol, Lucky arrives and insists that his mother not get in harm's way. Lucky pleads with Laura to let him end the feud between the Cassadines and the Spencers. Nicholas arrives upon the scene and helps Laura convince Lucky to remain in hiding and let them face Stavros and Helena without him. They're worried that Lucky would fall prey to Helena's brainwashing or Stavros' hate. Nicholas and Laura bravely walk into the maze inside the cave, but stop in their tracks when Stavros appears. Nicholas and Laura come face to face with Stavros. Stavros is delighted that he is finally reunited with his family. Nicholas demands to know where Gia is, and Stavros tells his son that she is safe and they have become friends. Gia comes out of the room and she and Nicholas are reunited. Nicholas tells Stavros about longing for a father. Stavros pulls him in for a hug. Nicholas then pulls a gun on him, but Stavros gets it away from him. Stavros is both hurt and angry at Nicholas for trying to kill him. Stavros then takes Laura to the bedroom he has set up for them. It is the same as the bridal room they had after they got married. Luke appears at the door. Luke tells Stavros that he will not get Laura. Stavros challenges him to take her anytime he wants. Luke taunts Stavros until he attacks. Luke takes him on and yells for Laura to run. She doesn't leave, worried about Luke. In order to protect Luke, she agrees to stay and do whatever Stavros wants. Lucky finds a note from Liz telling him that she loves him and that will never change. She tells him that she only left him to protect him and promises that when this is all over, she will return and make him remember how much he loves her. He then imagines he sees Liz. She tells him that he hasn't lost her. She reassures him that she is still in his heart and this is why he can see her. She tells him that he is the son of Luke and Laura and that Helena always underestimates that, being a Spencer. She says, "You're afraid because you think you're alone." No, he says, he's afraid because he knows that what Helena is capable of. She tells him to see Helena's lies for what they are and to grab a hold of the truth. Lucky realizes he is only imagining Liz's presence. Liz gives him a picture of the first day they met when she was applying for a job at Kelly's. He asks where she got it. She tells them that he took a picture of it in his mind, and at that moment, it meant something to him. She continues to show him different pictures, moments of their history together, and asks him about each one, from trying to protect her from trying to protect her after her HIV test, being on the run, the blender fight, moving into the boxcar, the paint war. Then he says, "Wait, this is what I felt, that I realized that I had a serious crush on you. Dinner at the No Name." He continues to look at the pictures and then he says he feels hope. She tells him that hope is never gone as long as he feels love and that there is love inside him.
And this is where we are right now. It's gonna happen.
I can't wait. I'm hoping that they just messed up their dates and that Valentine's Day happens next week.
Yeah, me too.
And that there's something. Because even Rick this week, whenever he brought her flowers, the flowers were to celebrate her being back as head nurse, not anything to do with Valentine's Day.
Right. Weren't we preempted for President Carter's funeral?
Yes. So yeah, that
might have had something to do with how we're pushed back right now.
Right.
So we're going to go with we are pushed back and Monday is Valentine's Day, even though it's not.
Yeah, because even Curtis would not do anything for Portia on Valentine's Day. That would just be odd. And Drew's going to do something for Willow.
So over that.
Me too.
But if you're listening in the future, it is February 15th, 2025. And this is what just happened on the show.
Yes.
Drew and Will are being gross. Lucky and Liz almost came. Curtis and Portia are still married. Good.
There you go.
Oh, but yeah, so join us on Monday as we see if they celebrate Valentine's Day in the Lucky and Liz way. So I do feel bad for the Liz and Franco fans.
Yes.
They also did Valentine's Day.
Yes.
That kind of bummed me out because then I wound up liking Liz and Franco.
Right.
So, but just remember, Lucky had it first.
Yeah, I think Lucky should just bring her one single rose and say he didn't want to do something over the top because he didn't want to disrespect the love between her and Franco, but mention that they had it first. That would be sweet.
That would be so good. But do you think he knows that? Do you think he knows?
Yeah, I'm going to say he does just because why not?
So he knows that they got married on his anniversary too.
I feel like he would have to because he was still keeping in contact with the boys while he was away.
True.
So, anyway,
Very true. But yeah,
have a good weekend.
and we'll meet you at the pier.
Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed today's show, we invite you to go to peer54podcast.com to subscribe on your favorite platform. Don't forget to leave us a review.
And you can also follow us on many social media channels. Just search for Peer 54 Podcast. Also, we are not perfect, so if there is something that we missed or messed up, just let us know by emailing us at peer54podcast@gmail.com.